Darren lived in a working-class rural area. He loved motocross and dirt bike riding. It was his form of freedom. Darren left school immediately after he received his HSC. He began an apprenticeship in a construction company owned by his uncle. Darren fell off his bike shortly after the first year anniversary of beginning as an apprentice builder. He damaged his arm so severely that he was forced to drop out of work for 16 weeks. He was told he may not ever regain the use of his arm. While he was in hospital, Darren had time to reflect on his decisions in life. His family encouraged him not to lose hope and assured him that his uncle would keep the apprenticeship for him for when he had regained the full use of his arm. While Darren was in hospital, his aunt, the only one to have ever gone to university, came to visit him. Darren, having thought about how some of his best mates had gone to university, asked her what it was like, if he'd even be smart enough to get in. Despite the warnings of doctors, Darren did recover the full use of his arm. He went back to continue work with his uncle, but after just 3 weeks, Darren quit. He had decided to go to university. His family felt this was a betrayal of their trust and commitment to see him through his recovery, especially seeing as his uncle had held the place for him as a builder. Darren felt sure, though, that doing a business degree at university was the right decision, that it would help his family and his uncle's business more than him becoming a builder. February of this year, Darren made the 660-kilometre journey to Brisbane. He moved in with people from countries he's never heard of before and began his business degree at Griffith University. Heather is upper middle class and lives in a 6-bedroom house like all the other houses in her area. Her father is a financial planner and her mother doesn't work. She's 19 years old and enjoys shopping with friends and holidaying overseas. She sees travel as a rite of passage into adulthood. Heather's had life mostly handed to her on a silver platter. However, Heather's had to grow up a lot in the past year due to the death of her brother Thomas, who died of a drug overdose. This has been a critical moment for Heather. Thomas's death wedged a divide between her parents, and Heather now feels as though home no longer provides the same emotional, psychological attachment it once did, but now performs merely a physical or practical. The death of Heather's brother made her see her friends in a different way. Her friends simply didn't want to know or help her through the trauma of losing a brother. Consequently, Heather became restless in Sydney and decided to leave. She felt as if there was just no longer any reason for her to stay. University provided the perfect opportunity for Heather. It helped Heather to put into practice her cosmopolitan outlook. Although she's always enjoyed travel, she felt that she would never really want to leave Sydney. Heather realised that her brother had spent his whole 24 years in Sydney, hanging around the wrong crowds, never having experienced living anywhere else, and she sensed the same fate for herself unless she left. Being a wealthy upper-class businessman, her father had social mobility and social capital within Brisbane. Her father's connections made moving to university a more viable. Heather's narrative of transition to a business degree at Griffith University was encouraged by her parents, but it caused more problems between her friends back home. Strong local attitudes meant that people continually questioned her move to Brisbane. However, Heather's aspirational mobility was stronger than this questioning, as she hoped to successfully complete her degree. At Griffith University, Heather forged many strong bonds and successfully began to complete her course. She's lucky to have come from a privileged family and knows that when she finishes her degree, a job will be waiting for her in one of her father's many businesses.